So you are an employee, you've been around for a few years with your company, and you have really come up, you've developed your competency in whatever trade or product or service that your company has based their reputation on, and you've been invited to sit at the table with a vendor. Well, this is a significant milestone for you. It means that they really trust and respect you, and they want you to be there to help make important decisions with the company. But what's important for you to be aware of is the set of ground rules that they're also expecting you to follow. Now, these ground rules aren't always explicitly brought up, and people aren't often explicitly nurtured on the do's and don'ts. And a lot of time in companies, they have actually just learned this on their own through decades, if not generations, of trial and error. So it's important to know some of the fundamental ground rules that are bedrock and applicable to any company. So you can actually really contribute in these types of meetings. So the first ground rule is to simply know your craft, to be aware of your own competency and have confidence in it. But you also have probably experienced that this learning curve, this trajectory, has taken you a lot longer than you thought. You've gone through humbling experiences and trial and errors, so you know that this has not been a straight curve. But keep your ego in check and be aware of the possible roadblocks ahead of you, such as complacency and assuming that you know it all. So maintain that learner's mindset and certainly embrace your own competence. But as you move forward, this will give you inner certainty and growing confidence that you are ready to take on more responsibility. Another really important ground rule in any kind of meeting where there's two sides on the table, is to maintain respect. And this can often really be a crucial part of decision making if there are some members in a meeting that are really looking for weak spots and are using that as a tactic to get more out of the negotiations. So be aware of that, and be aware of when it feels like you've been disrespected, because if you feel like you've been disrespected, you have. So be polite and firm and hold your ground. And if things are getting heated, just take a breath and pause and just give yourself a moment to get your thoughts together. The third ground rule I want to mention is about having the right information at the beginning of a meeting and at the end of the meeting. So make sure that you've brought the information that you need to prove a point, and make sure that there are key decisions being made, that they're being made based on solid facts. Now, what can sometimes happen in meetings is that somebody brings up something and you realize that people are starting to talk about something and they're working off incorrect information. Now, this can be delicate if it might be your own manager who's brought up the incorrect information. So approach that with tact and respect. And remember that your manager has actually brought you to the meeting because he or she wants you to keep an eye on the detail. But if you spot an oversight or a mistake, just bring it up again with tact and respect. And in this case, is actually pretty good best practice to establish some ground rules ahead of time so you know best how to handle this situation. This is particularly helpful if you have members of your team who come from high respect cultures who may be hesitant about speaking up. So anyway, those are a few of the ground rules that are bedrock for you to start moving ahead in your career and making those important steps. Thanks.